it's too much to bear, and they blame a simple medical device for all of their misery. Surgical mesh. We first told you about the controversy surrounding this seemingly harmless device back in May, but now some Tucson doctors are stepping forward to defend it. In this Not On Your Side Health Watch, Valerie Cavazos shows us why.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, doctor. How are you?
Fine now, but 63-year-old BEATRICE BORQUEZ lived in agony for years, suffering from pelvic organ prolapse, a condition many women have after multiple births, menopause, or weight gain.
It felt like a baseball coming out of my vagina, and it was awful. I couldn't sit, I couldn't stand, I couldn't walk, and every time I moved and I coughed or something, I would urinate.
Could you compare the pain to something?
I would have rather had given birth instead of had that, you know.
To relieve her excruciating pain, her former doctor recommended a common surgery using biological tissue to fix it, but it failed.
It didn't work. It just came back down and came back down worse.
Frustrated and miserable, she came here in search of a specialist who stopped the pain using mesh.
I've had a good time after that.
This is the device used in her surgery, mesh, approved by the FDA and sold as a simple kit that can be used by any doctor.
Dr. Susan KALOTA has used mesh products for years and was part of the FDA's 510K approval process for these mesh devices. Since it was successful in hernia repairs, she says the FDA thought mesh would solve similar prolapse problems in women.
So the 510K made it that it was authorized with the understanding it was similar to things on the market.
But Dr. ARREGUIN says the FDA didn't anticipate that the manufacturers would push the products as simple kits that don't require a specialist.
I think that they were absolutely sold that way. This is an easy procedure. You're already doing surgery in that space, so just use this mesh, put it in there. Not only will you be able to bill a little bit more, but you'll see the results are much better.
Or much worse. Dr. KALOTA says many specialists have since learned mesh isn't for every patient.
In someone who's got less significant prolapse, the mesh can be a nightmare.
Prompting the FDA, after receiving more than 1,000 complaints, to send letters to the 35 manufacturers of the devices ordering new safety studies.
So the FDA is not saying these are bad devices. They're saying that they are not as similar as was felt, and that research needs to be done.
Last month, the manufacturer of this mesh kit, Johnson & Johnson, said it's phasing out its product. Now Dr. ARREGUIN and Dr. KALOTA are worried more manufacturers will follow suit.
Some of the negative results that are seen are because we've chosen an improper patient, or maybe doctors were using the mesh when they didn't necessarily have the appropriate training to do that. And so meshes do have a place because there is a way to repair women correctly.
It'd be very sad to lose it from the market because there are candidates that it really makes the difference.
Candidates like BEATRICE.
You hear about all of this, the complications with mesh. What do you think?
I think they're overdoing it. I think it depends on who you talk to, really. I mean, I've had no problems.
Valerie Cavazos, KGUN-9 on your side.